Hey, what is up? It's Jim. I'm back with another Tiller tip, and this week we are talking about overcoming problems, things that happen to you as we drive through life. And for me, literally, as I drive through life, I encounter all kinds of problems. Like this morning on the way to counseling, man, what is with Colorado, especially like south of Denver, along 25 between like Lone Tree and Colorado Springs. This is like the epicenter of terrible driving. I'm convinced of it. No one has been taught about the passing lane because everyone just gets on the interstate and then gets all the way over. I literally have to go over to the right lane. That's my passing lane. It's very frustrating. It's just an inefficient system. And obviously, that has nothing to do with anything other than PSA, please, people, get over. If you're not all the way up on that person that's in the next car in front of you, you have no business being in the left lane. So, PSA, the more you know. For real, though, what I want to talk about is like the unforeseen problems that come and how you figure out what to do with them. And I remember when I was going through driver's ed. Man, it's been a long time. I have driven a lot longer than I haven't driven. I think, I was doing go-karts with Anderson and a friend, and I got in a little accident because he was a bad driver. His friend was a bad driver. And he was trying to blame it on me when the attendant came over. And I was like, who are you going to trust? Kid that's never driven a car before, or old man who's had a driver's license for over 25 years? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've had a driver's license for 25 years. That's wild. Okay. Actually, it's been 30 years, if we're being honest. But that was my off the cuff statement. It's been 30 years. 30 years. I'm a professional at driving. What can I say? But when I was going through driver's ed, they taught us a bunch of things, and most of the stuff I don't really remember, like how many feet away from a bus that you're supposed to be when they, pull over and do the little stop sign thing. I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I would struggle with a driving test today. But this is the one thing I remember out of driver's ed. It's IPDE, okay? IPDE. And so we had these really cool, pretty modern driving simulators that we would drive in, and they'd have this film strip going, and somehow they connected the film strip with the little simulator that we were in, and a ball would come out from the side of the road, and you had to figure out what to do. And so the IPD model is identify, predict, decide, and execute. So I think the child's ball is a really good example because that's like a weird object to see come flying out of nowhere as you're driving. There's like parked cars on the side, and then just in between one of the parked cars comes this ball, and you have to, first of all, identify like what is that? Okay, and so it's like, okay, that's a little child's red rubber ball. So okay, that stinks, but like, do I need to slam on my brakes for the ball? Like, probably not. It's not going to hurt my car. So I'm identifying what the problem is, and then I need to predict. And the prediction isn't like necessarily just as if this object's going to hurt my car. Is there anything else that could be coming out after that red rubber ball? And of course there is. Like, the kid lost control of the ball, the kid's probably going to start darting out after it and not think about the cars on the road. So I'm beginning to predict, like, oh, the ball's not the problem. The potential of the kid is, right? And so I'm deciding to apply the brakes and slow down. I'm not just slamming yet, but I'm getting myself ready to do this. And so I've predicted, and then I'm executing on that decision. I'm like firmly, hitting the brake pedal, and once again, not slamming on the brakes because I do have a car behind me that's, a little too close. So I don't want to, get in an accident there. So I'm slowing down to be prepared for that kid to potentially run out in the middle of the road. That is IPDE: identify, predict, decide, and execute. And I think that that's good. Do I think about that actively when I'm driving? Probably not. I'm not like, reciting IPDE to myself, and I don't have an IPDE song, but maybe I should have an IPDE song because, that could be a real banger in the car. But anyways, like IPDE is like a great way to like figure out what to do. Like problems come and their problems aren't always isolated. Right now, I'm facing a problem. This is one of my last few days here in this office. I've been officing out of a church for the last 5 years. They've been very generous to let me office here and have a really good and consistent space to meet with clients and to do Zoom and all that stuff. And now that's going away. They are working on selling the building, and next week I've got to be out. And great for them. That's awesome. But like, that is a problem. So I got to identify, like they made it easy. They told me, hey, Chuckles, you got to get out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So I was able to identify and then predict, like, well, could I actually milk it? The first thing that they said was by the end of April, I would need to be out. And so I was like, it feels maybe like, kind of hearing the rest of the story. Maybe it's not actually the end of April, so maybe I don't have to pull the fire alarms yet. So I was predicting that I maybe had a little bit more time, and I was right. I had until the end of May. But like, yeah, I was starting to predict, and then I had to make a decision. So I put it out on my newsletter, and I'm like, hey, I'm needing office space. And one of my friends was like, oh my gosh, I have office space for you. And there's probably other options, and I've had plenty of conversations with people. But I mean, honestly, it was like, okay, I've identified the problem. I've predicted when that's going to be. And I predicted right that I had a little bit more time, but not forever. And, I was able to decide. I announced it to people and got the word out and had some people kind of tell me some options. And now it's just time for me to execute. So starting this weekend, I'm going to start dismantling the Tiller Studios, and I've signed a lease and I've got keys. I've got keys here in my pocket. Like it's all very real. I don't know why I'm showing you my keys, but like they're there, and yeah, that's incredible, right? Like I'm very excited about it. So that might not have been a huge problem, but following the IPDE model might be really helpful for you when those unforeseen problems come darting into your path and you got to figure out what to do. So IPDE helped me in this situation. I think it could help you. This is a coachable bit that I, occasionally tell, the people that I'm facing, the people I'm coaching when they're facing a problem. And it's like, okay, well, let's even write it up on the board. Like let's identify the problem. Let's actually put some terminology to it. Let's define the problem, and then let's predict what are the different options. Let's, make some decisions of like, what are the decisions that we could make, and think those through, map that out. And then we just have to execute, right? For me with this office space, it's going to be more money. But I made a decision, and I'm going to execute, and I believe that God's going to honor that, and I've got some space to grow, to bring on some new coaches locally, and I just think that this is going to be such a great opportunity for me. So I IPDE'd the junk out of this, and I think you should too on your problems. So how about that? I remembered something from over 30 years ago, guys. Like, it's pretty big time. Like if you remember something for 30 years, you should share that with people because it might be a good lesson. So that's what we did today, and I appreciate you checking these out. Yeah, I'll see you next time. I'm not sure where I'm going to be or what things are going to look like, but I can't wait to see you then. All right, see ya.